So just to take you back a little bit in time, when Bill and I were first dating, which was very briefly after I was at Microsoft in 1987, we were in that getting to know one another phase, right? And so when you're getting to know one another phase, you're trying a lot of new things together. And I was at the store late one night, I think it was at the drugstore picking up some stuff, and I happened to go by the aisle where there were puzzles. And I thought, hey, this is something my family's always enjoyed doing, which are puzzles. Maybe, I don't really know if Bill likes puzzles, but I'll take one home and see what he thinks, right? So I pick up a 1,200-piece puzzle, one of those little, little cheap cardboard ones, it's rectangular, et cetera, and it was the Eiffel Tower. And with a beautiful sky behind it, blue sky, very few clouds. So Eiffel Tower, blue sky, 1,200 pieces. And I take it home, and I take it to Bill's house. And my family, whenever we used to do puzzles when I was growing up, we would dump them out on the dining room table. And over a series of a whole host of weeks and months, you'd come by and you'd put 5 or 6 pieces in, and then you'd come by and put a few more pieces in, and maybe in a couple months go by and it's all done. Well, I came home, and he's like, yeah, I'll do a puzzle. I love to do puzzles. I said, okay, great. We crack open the cardboard box Thursday night. We throw it open on his dining room table. And one thing I didn't quite understand about Bill at that time was that, by gosh, when you sit down to do something, you are going to finish it, and you're going to finish it then. 1,200 pieces, the Eiffel Tower, that's not doable in a few hours, okay? And I'm pretty good at puzzles. It turns out so is Bill. We've actually had a few puzzle competitions just for fun of equal puzzles of same number of pieces. But that's another story. But anyway, so we dump this puzzle out and we get going, and hours go by, and I'm exhausted. I'm like, okay, give it up. And we're going away for the weekend, actually do something fun with this family. And, there's just no way we can keep working on this thing. It's on the dining room table. So we go away for the weekend. We come back. Well, another story, which I won't go into, but we had a little competition going on that weekend, too, on a Northwest game called pickleball. And I dislocated my shoulder. I was with him. I was on his team. So we come back at the end of the weekend. I'm hobbling like this I can hardly move my hand because this dislocated shoulder's in a sling. And we come back to the puzzle. And we are going to do this puzzle. And what I learned from that is, we both like puzzles. And we like them because they're challenging and they're interesting. And there's some similarities about what we both like about puzzles. But if we're going to do a puzzle together, we now do ones that are 600 pieces, because you can do a 600-piece puzzle in one sitting. And today we do puzzles that we don't have a picture for. That's our favorite. They're often wooden. If you're doing a picture that's, say, of Napa Valley, completely irregular shaped edge, there might be a whole vine that goes around it and you don't know it. There might be pieces where there's straight edges in the middle of the pieces where the puzzler has left holes in it. We love those puzzles. And that's a good metaphor for me about how we work together and how I think about problems, which is, with a puzzle, you always know that there's an end solution, that the person who created one of these jigsaw puzzles has an end thing in mind, and you're going to get there. But along the way, you're going to experience a lot of frustration. You're going to have to look at things from different points of view. So sometimes Bill's working on shapes and I'm working on colors. Sometimes we switch. Sometimes we'll notice something the other person doesn't notice. Sometimes you'll have a different perspective. Sometimes you'll step away for a while to get a different perspective, and you'll come back a few minutes later. But you have to trust yourself when you're doing a puzzle that you're going to get there. And you have to push through the frustration. And to me, that's part of the fun.